And just in case great lips, hey. Just in case you're watching this Great Clips, this is your tape. So, let's start at the very beginning. I started Great Clips in Pennsylvania when I first got out of beauty school. I was there for almost a year. I absolutely loved everyone I worked with. There was no drama. Nobody was, like, pissy or, excuse my language, this will be a strong language rant because I am mad. I am to the point where I don't know what else to do. So if you guys know what to do, leave it in the comments. I started working in Great Clips last year. And, excuse me while I drink water too. I absolutely loved my job. I loved going in every day. I didn't go, like, I loved my clients. And we were a team. We were really strong. We were a strong team, and we just got along really well. Now, I don't know if that's because we were all from one area or not, but all of our personalities meshed. So, in June of 2017, when I moved to Colorado, I transferred my job from Great Clips to here. And I started working at one specific Great Clips about 15 minutes from where I live now. And at first, I really liked it. I was getting along with everybody. It was a great area. I was making a ton of money. But they started to need somebody to go over to another Great Clips to help out. So, I was like, yeah, I'm the newest person. But it was already decided for me before I had a chance. So I was traveling back and forth, and I didn't have a car, so I would have to take the bus in the morning. When the Great Clips that I was helping at is right across the street from me. So basically I did this whole thing where I would go back and forth, and I'd work between the two Great Clips locations, and when they needed me, I was always there. I always went whenever they needed me. And even though I didn't make as much money at the Great Clips I was helping at, and it wasn't as busy, and I just sat there for most of the time, I still wanted to help out because that was my crew. August, maybe? September? And I wanted to start a haunted attraction. And this is obviously the Asylum in Denver, and when I wanted to start, I got my schedule and I gave it to the manager for that Great Clips that was the original one that I transferred my job to, and they were like, well, yeah, I think the one that you were filling in at, so Shop B, I think Shop B needs you guys more than, needs you more than we do, so I'm going to transfer you over to that one. Now, this wasn't told to me beforehand. This wasn't told to me, like, a week before. They didn't ask me if it was okay. No. At the end of the day, one day, they literally was like, pull me into the back, and they're like, well, you won't be working here anymore. You'll be over at Salon B, and just pack up your things and go. You start after the weekend, so this was on a Friday, and the manager goes, and enjoy your day off this weekend, because that's probably the last one you're going to get for a while. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, whatever, maybe she didn't mean it that way, maybe she was just kind of like, just letting me know, but it kind of had a tinge of an attitude in there, and I was just like, whatever. So you leave me with the sour taste in my mouth, even though you promised me that I wasn't going anywhere and that I was just helping Salon B. So I started at Salon B, and me being from Pennsylvania, I'm a very loud person. I have a sarcastic attitude. And this is totally my thing. Like, I get it. I understand that I am not the easiest person to be around. But as soon as I get there, I get met with resistance. And I just want to give you some background where, like, I have been going to Great Clips since I was an infant. So I've been getting my hair cut at Great Clips my whole entire life. It was my goal once I got into Great Clips to advance in Great Clips. I wasn't just there for a job. This was just not a career for me. I wanted to be more. I wanted to be part of this whole big system that Great Clips is, and I thought that it was going to be like it was in Pennsylvania. Started at Salon B, and I mean, it was hard for me to fit in. People didn't get along with me well because of the way I put off my kind of, I guess, attitude, and so basically, as someone, you know, like me, I'm just kind of like, well, you know, maybe they'll get used to me, maybe they'll just, you know, kind of adapt, or maybe I'll adapt, you know. Shop B, I automatically start to, like, conform back into what I had been doing when I was switching back and forth. And people were starting to like me client-wise, and I started to build up this clientele, and that was awesome. But I always seemed to be having issues with the people who I worked with. Now, I will tell you this right off the bat. There were fantastic people there. And over the time that I had been there, like, I had become really good friends with a couple of people, and I had become not so good friends with some people. The manager was really awesome at first, and she was super understanding, and she, you know, she helped me, and she worked with me on my schedule with the haunt, and, you know, I did as much as I could for her and the shop, and, you know, somewhere around the last 3 or 4 months, and I had felt this before, but the last 3 or 4 months, one specific person had always started to pick little fights. I was frustrated at this because literally all I did was I came to work. And so this person, like, we have a rule in there that you sweep for everybody. You know, you are a good sport. You take your turn when a person comes in. You have to be prompt. You have to be, you know, on top of it. And I wanted to be a manager. That's what I wanted. So I was trying the best I could to get my numbers up from moving and keep my clientele and do everything. And I was starting to try and assume an assistant management role, because the manager said that I had a good possibility of it. And so she kind of, like, led me in this direction where, yes, yeah, like, if you get all your numbers right, if you show up to work on time, if you show people that you want to be a manager, then things will progress for you quickly, or even just progress in general. And so I was under that assumption. And so I worked as hard as I possibly could so that I could become this assistant manager. Now, I've had management training before. I know how to hold myself, and I did hold myself decently well. And along with making friends with people, I was also making friends with clientele. So I would become more comfortable. I'd be a little bit too loud when I couldn't help it. And that seemed to piss off some people. But this person would pick and choose who she wanted to do, pick and choose whether or not she wanted to sweep for you if she felt like it that day. And she just all around had a bad attitude. When she walked in the room, the whole attitude of the room went down. And it was very frustrating, especially to someone like me who's very high energy, and I thrive on a high energy environment and a good environment. Her and I, if we were scheduled together, she wouldn't talk to me at all, and I would want to talk, but she wouldn't talk back to me, or she'd push off my words, like, kind of just disregard what I was saying. Let's just leave it at that. Which is fine. You do you, girl. That's your own thing. If you just want to come to work and have a piss poor attitude and just sit there and do nothing, that's good with you. Fine. notices this, her not sweeping for me. And so if she doesn't sweep for me, I'm not gonna mess with that. I don't care. If she doesn't want anything to do with me, cool. Cut off. I notices that, and she pulls me into the back. You need to figure out what's going on between the two of you, and you guys are acting like children, not sweeping for each other, having a bad attitude. And I'm like, literally, I don't know what happened. I came in one day, she started acting like this. Stop sweeping for me. When you're done doing things for me, when you're done talking to me, when you're not going to be friendly, I'm not going to be friendly back. That's just how I am. So she pulled her into the back, and there was this whole big hoopla, and she's yelling, and she's screaming, and jumping up out of her seat, and sitting back down, and jumping up out of her seat, just being over the top. And I was just sitting there calmly, just letting it happen, trying to tell her that nothing happened. Like, I literally have no problems with her. But if she's going to be quiet and not talk to me, then I'm just not going to socialize with her. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my time trying to talk to someone who doesn't want to talk to me. Being frustrated at this, I bring it up to the manager again. The manager pulls her aside, and they have a screaming match in the back room one day. And I don't know if that was just because of what I said, or because the manager noticed that this kind of thing was happening. And cool, like, I don't want the negativity, especially if I want to be assistant manager. And I think she was a little jealous or put off of that because I'm young, and she's clearly in her 30s, and she doesn't know how to handle herself, and that's cool. Like, you do you, girl. So I'm going to skip ahead, and it's like this the whole time until this point that I'm coming up to right now. And I'm just getting frustrated. I'm not making the kind of money that I need to be making to pay my bills. We almost lose our apartment twice because of it. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. That's just what happened. Like, I wasn't making enough money. Michael wasn't holding down a job. This is just what happened. And I was very stressed out about it. She had said, well, maybe you should forget about assistant management. You know, just focus on doing what you have to do and coming in and looking nice. And I was keeping to my uniform for the most part. There was 1 or 2 days that, I fell off track. And a couple of days where I didn't want to wear makeup. But she's like, come in with makeup every day and do this and do that. And I'm like, well, why? Why? It had been almost a year now. And, she had me doing management stuff and figuring out the paperwork and all that. And I was just like so frustrated. So I went and I tried to get a second job at the gym. And I was like, I can't keep doing this. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm sick of the bad attitudes. I'm sick of the resistance that I'm always met with. And she tried to tell me otherwise, like she usually does, and say, oh, no, it's not anyone else's fault, And she was trying to put it nicely, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to come in and not feel comfortable. I'm not going to come in and not make money. And so I went and applied to the gym, and I got it, which is where I'm at now. And I was like, listen, I had to get a second job, and I need to cut back my hours. If you are going to work with me, cool. We'll figure something out. If you're not going to work with me, then that's your problem, and I'm gonna leave. So I didn't have the schedule for the gym yet, and she's like, okay, well, we'll think about it. And she's like, when you get your schedule, just bring it in. We'll talk about it. And I just wanted to work days, which is what they needed anyway. That's what I was working almost every day. And I was like, listen, if I could just work days, that would be great. I can work at the gym at night, and it'll be able to work. And she's like, well, we can't do that. I was like, okay, well, what can you offer me? Because literally, I don't know what else to do. And she said, well, when you get your schedule, we'll talk about it. And so I went in literally the next day, and I was like, listen, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. And she's like, okay, when's your last day? After trying to convince me all that time, she's like, when's your last day? And I was originally just going to wait it out till the end of the weekend, because I'm a piece of shit. But I was like, no, I'll wait a week. I'll just finish off this week, and then, you know, it'll be done. And she goes, okay, you're not even going to give me 2 weeks. I was like, you don't need 2 weeks. We're overfilled right now. And people are treating me bad right now. I'm not making any money. And you have people, enough people, to fill the shop for a week. I did my week. It got to the last 2 days. Well, like, as soon as I said that, she switched on me like this. She went from nice and caring and sweet to completely ignoring me for that whole entire week. People treated me differently. I would walk in and no one would say hi. No one would talk to me. And so it got to the last 2 days and I got really, really sick. Like, I was throwing up and everything like that, and I couldn't get out of bed. And Michael, I didn't call her the first day out of the last 2 days. And she didn't call me. She didn't text me. She didn't try and get a hold of me. No one from the shop tried to get a hold of me. If you had somebody who you cared about in your shop that you've been working with for over a year that had missed 2 days in the whole entire time, literally, wouldn't you call them? Wouldn't you say, hey, are you all right? Are you coming in today? So the second day, which would have been my last day, she texted me in the morning and said, you need to come get your stuff. No, hey, are you okay? Nothing like that. So Mike went in and got my stuff, and it had already been packed up. It came together in my American Crew bag that we had gotten from a show or whatever. And all my shit was just shoved in there. And he came home, and I pulled out my stuff so that I could look and see if everything was there. And my clippers were broken. And you know what's really frustrating to me is because my clippers weren't broken before I left. These were expensive clippers. And in fact, you can't even... Hold on one second. Let me grab the clippers so I can actually show you receipts. So these are brand new Osters. Not brand new. They're about 4 months old. I actually showed you on Instagram when I bought the Osters. And what they looked like. But, so when I got this back, this middle piece, do you see how it's all the way out here? Do you see that? If you can't see that, let me flip it over. This piece is not supposed to be all the way out here. This back part never, ever, 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 ever came off. Ever. But when I went to fix it, jumped right off. Able to do it before. Ever. In the whole 4 months that I'd had it. Why now, after those 2 days, was it able to come off? So, I was at home trying to fix it, making sure that I didn't do anything to my Osters to make them do this. And so nobody told anybody that they were broken, which was really weird. Because wouldn't you think that if they had been out of my eyesight for 2 days, that you would be able to get them back in the correct condition, right? No. So let me go ahead and actually show you why these don't work. You turn them on. You hear that noise? That's not a normal noise. I got it back like this. And so these $150 clippers are now mysteriously broken after 2 days of me not being near them. Funny. Real funny. So I First of all, I call the manager. And I was like, hey, I just want to know who packed up my clippers. You know, real nice about it, though. And I'm only saying with the attitude because I'm frustrated now. I say, hey, could you just tell me who? And she didn't answer me. And it was after hours. And she's always answered my phone call. So, you tell me if this is shady or not. I was like, hey, I just need to know who packed up my stuff because my clippers are now broken. Can anybody give me a call back and just tell me if it was an accident or whatever, because I'm trying to get a refund. I hang up, and I text her the same exact thing that I just sent. And I don't have that anymore because I deleted it. So then right after that, I texted the group chat with all of the people in it. And I said, hey guys, I'm sorry I couldn't come in my last 2 days, but I was super sick, and I just want to know who packed up my clippers because now my osters are broken. Can somebody please message me? So now I have 3 different forms of communication that I've already tried, right? The phone call, I've tried to text the manager, and I've also sent a group chat to everyone, including the manager. So I literally wait for 2 days, and one of my coworkers, let's say Elle, her name is Elle. Elle texted me back and said, hey, I was on vacation. It wasn't me. She was on vacation. So I was like, okay. So that leaves 5 other people that could have packed my things up and broken it. Fine. I wait for a full week now. A full week. And still, no one has answered me. Hey guys, so I'm sorry I look a mess, and I'm sorry this is different than the actual